Hello, and welcome to This Week in James City County. I'm your host, Renee Dahlman. I recently had the opportunity to sit with Assistant County Administrator Brad Rinehimer to get an update on the new County Government Center. Let's take a listen. Brad, thank you so much for once again joining us here on the podcast.
Of course, it's my pleasure. I love being here.
Okay, well, I know that there are so many different things that you could talk about, but really the big thing that people want to know more about is what's our update on this government center?
That is my favorite topic, Renee.
I know it is.
I do enjoy talking about the government center. You know, obviously we want people to know about the government center.
Absolutely.
Over the past 3 years since I've been involved in this project, it's actually been almost 3.5 years now. That was certainly a intentional thing that we did, trying to notify citizens about what was going on. We wanted people to know about it. There's a lot going on over there. If you drive by the site, you'll see it. It's totally cleared of any trees that were going to be left there. They're gone. The BMP pond, the stormwater retention pond, is there. You'll see a large mountain of dirt out there right now. That's from the excavation for where they got down to where the underground parking deck will be. And currently, all this week and in the next couple of weeks, you'll see some machinery out there. They're doing the rigid inclusions, which
we learned about last time.
So that takes, I think, about 3 weeks to complete. And hopefully you'll see them out there starting to pour concrete slabs for the foundations around May 1st.
Okay.
But you also see there's a lot of equipment, a lot of material out there. You see a lot of concrete stormwater pipe. They're also digging down for some of the stormwater retention items underground. So there's a lot going on, and you're just going to see that activity increase more and more as the year progresses. Sometime this summer, they should be starting some of the work on Ashbury, which, part of this whole design was doing some improvements to the rec center parking lot. Anybody who goes to the rec center often knows that the entrance down closest to the pew is kind of awkward, getting in and getting out. It's so close to the intersection. We're redesigning both the upper entrance into the rec center and the lower entrance in the rec center. So at times during this project, you will see part of that parking lot will be closed off, but we're committed to allowing access to citizens, and the rec center is going to stay open the whole time. But you may have to use the upper entrance or the lower entrance down into the rec center.
Okay, good to know. So at the last board meeting, there was a question about when we were going to find out what everybody wanted to know. And it was initials, an abbreviation or something. And I did not catch what that was. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. And it was Dr. McGlennon who asked that question. And it's the GMP. It's the guaranteed maximum price.
Got it. GMP, like
correct.
Paul. Got it.
Which in a typical design bid build process, they would have that up front. You'd have that number pretty early on in the process. As we've talked about before, this was a PPEA process, which ran differently. And the board...
And just for fun, PPEA.
Public-Private Educational and Infrastructure Act.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we could do a whole segment on that. Basically, it allows for companies, private industry, to partner with government industry to create projects. And,
Gotcha.
The benefits, you work with the same architects, the same builders, the same engineers from start to finish.
Okay.
So everybody's involved the whole process.
Okay.
Where a design bid build, an architect might design it, then you put it out to bid, and contractors bid on it, then they start building it. So it's really segmented. This is really intended to be a smoother process.
Okay.
It's supposed to be faster and hopefully a little less costly.
Okay.
So that's the process we followed. Because of that, and this is a taxpayer-funded project. The citizens are paying for this project. The board had multiple times along this process to decide to move forward or not to move forward. But part of that was, how could they be expected to move forward with a project if they didn't know for sure how much it was going to cost?
Sure.
Of course, the contractors don't want to give you a guaranteed maximum price because we weren't finished with design. And it's hard for them to give a guaranteed cost when the building's not totally designed yet.
Right.
So all along, understanding that and not wanting to go to the Board of Supervisors and asking to approve a project with no known price,
Right.
we worked to get language in the contracts that we would design the building up to a certain amount.
Okay.
So we've sort of been working with the guaranteed maximum price, but not technically.
Okay.
Every resolution that the board approved, it had design up to $179 million. So when we do get that actual guaranteed maximum price, and we should be getting it June 1st, that's the projected date,
Okay.
because they just finished the construction drawings. We have the construction drawings now, and our staff, our construction management company, they're reviewing those to provide comments on things that they may have missed or things we wanted to change. Once that 100% construction drawings, once that is totally completed and approved, that's when they can price it out and give us that guaranteed maximum price.
Okay.
But I don't expect, and I've said this multiple times, I do not expect that guaranteed maximum price to be different from what we've been doing the whole time.
Okay.
That $179 million is still the anticipated cost, and that's what we're shooting for.
Okay. What if it comes back higher? What could happen then?
Sure. And if the price were to come back higher, and there's certainly factors that we don't control, tariffs, embargoes, things out there that could certainly impact the cost of construction. And we're seeing that now with the price of gasoline and petroleum-based products. If the price does come back, if that GMP does come back higher than what we've anticipated, we have a couple of options. One, we can reduce the scope of the project. We could decide not to finish certain portions of the building.
Okay.
We can value engineer out some more things and change some of the products that we're using on the facility. I think the third option is we can also certainly come back to the board and ask for additional funding for that project. That is not my desire. That is not what I'm planning to do. I'm very hopeful that it will still come in at what we're expecting. Any price increases that we're seeing, we hope now are temporary and aren't long lasting.
Sure. I know earlier you mentioned that the lot has been cleared of all the trees. And I've heard from citizens that there are some folks that are out there that aren't very happy that that's happened. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure, absolutely. And if I did say all the trees that are getting cleared have been cleared.
Gotcha.
Not all the trees on the parcel.
Okay.
There's still a buffer along Long Hill and Depew. There's still some trees.
Okay.
Some trees out there. And we've heard that from citizens. In public comment, we've heard people talk about the virgin forest and all these things, and I understand that. And trees are one of the things that makes this community so beautiful. We love the trees. I love the trees. My family's from Pennsylvania. My wife's family's from New York, and anytime somebody comes visit, one of the first things they say, there are so many trees down here.
Right.
And there are, and we absolutely love that. The trees that were on that site were actually planted by the county about 25 to 30 years ago. That site at one point was just an open field. The JCSA had a water tower on that site, and there were no trees on that site. So the county actually planted those, and they were all pines, which, a lot about trees. Pines are certainly native to this area, and they're one of the fastest growing and probably easiest to produce. So that's why the county had planted them there that many years ago. But it wasn't a virgin forest. There were no 100-year oaks or anything like that on the site.
Okay. Well, and that's good to know. And all right. So, Brad, where are we? So I understand where we're at in terms of clearing and all of that, but I know that there's lots of different moving parts going on at all times with this. Where are we on this project in other aspects?
Sure. So, one of the things that we were very intentional about throughout this process was designing really usable outdoor space.
Okay.
Both for employees and for citizens that come to utilize that space. So that's something we've been working through. We're kind of wrapping up what we want to see with some of the outdoor space. And I hope that both citizens and employees will see the intentional things that we did for that outdoor space to make it a place that's very enjoyable, where people can go. Obviously the library edition is set to be put in that location as well. Places where people can go and sit outside and read a book or drink a cup of coffee. So I hope you'll see that. There's a large podium parking underneath the building for employees. and that lends itself to a really nice outdoor space on the top of that podium on the back side of the building,
Mhm.
overlooking that BMP. And I really do believe that's going to be a very useful space, certainly for employees during the day at lunchtime, but also for citizen groups to come in and go outside and utilize that space. So we're really looking forward to that. We're also going through, anyone who has ever built a house knows, you got to pick all your colors and all your tile and all your grout and all those finishes. That's something we're doing now
Okay.
with the government center. A lot of different employee groups in the county have been helping with this. The architects certainly have interior decorator folks that are helping with this, trying to come up with colors that match sort of the theme of the building.
Mhm.
Early on, the interior designers came up with the concept of having it very earthy with the rivers, the York and the James
Mhm.
that kind of define James City County, making the building similar to that.
Okay.
And sort of the design and how the building flows, and then certainly the colors and things that are used inside the building. So hopefully you'll see that in the building as well. We also formed an employee arts committee,
Mhm.
which I'm very excited about. Some of the tours that we'd gone on, we saw some really nice art in some of those facilities. So we have a group that's looking at that and how we can incorporate art into this new building, which isn't too expensive or doesn't cost
Right.
citizens
Right.
a whole lot. Just coming up with different ideas and things we can do for that, working with the library on that, because the library does a lot of art contests and other
Mhm.
things like that. Well, maybe we can display some of that stuff in our new facility.
Very nice. And that makes me think of Legacy Hall with the beautiful, I think it was built for the 2007, the beautiful three sails that are there. And that was done by a non-government
A
person,
local
which
artist,
a
yes,
local artist, which
yes.
is just great. So when I'm hearing about these outdoor spaces, that makes me very happy because one, I'm picturing like what they have in the city by the city library in between Stryker and the library. There's a beautiful, and you always drive by and you see people sitting outside. So I'm very excited that we're going to have something like that of our own. I'm also excited because it's fun here at the government center where we are right now on Mounds Bay Road. We're always seeing citizens walking around the loop with their dogs. And it's so nice to see. And so I'm glad to hear that we're going to hopefully continue to have that in the new place because that's what makes this government center what it's supposed to be, the people and the citizens. And I'm very excited to hear that.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
that was actually one of the decisions that we used in selecting that location is
Hmm.
that multi-use trail
Yeah.
that currently exists that goes around there. So hopefully you'll continue to see a lot of that, a lot of folks walking around, citizens and employees too. I mean, we see it here on lunch breaks,
Right. Right.
employees out
Employees
walking
out there.
around.
Yeah.
So you'll continue to see that. And positioned right next to the rec center, I think
Oh,
that'll
yeah.
actually increase.
Oh, for sure.
And then having the library there, I mean, I really think it'll be a great harmony of space
Hmm.
and things that people can do there. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Kind of a central hub of
Absolutely.
activity.
Absolutely. And it's right there near Newtown.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of positives to being in that location.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Anything else that we need to know before we bring you back next month?
I don't think so. We're continuing to progress on. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a lengthy process, but
Mhm.
there is a lot going on over there, and you're just going to see that activity continue to increase over the next few months. We're hoping to see vertical construction. I mean, that's all the underground and concrete and things like that. People don't really pay much attention or
Right.
see it.
Right.
Once the steel structures start going into place and you see vertical construction, I think that's when people really start to hopefully get excited about it and see it. And we're hoping to see that this summer.
All right. Very good. Well, Brad, once again, thank you so much.
Of course.
And I can't wait to hear from you next time.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Renee Dolman.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Well, that wraps up this episode of This Week in James City County. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, please be sure to subscribe. That way you will never miss an episode. You can also go to our website. We're at jamescitycountyva.gov/podcast. And while there, you're going to find all of our shows as well as a form that you can give us show comments, critiques. We would love to hear from you. So once again, thank you so much, and we will talk with you next week.